welcome back to my channel. This is going to be another very unscripted pregnancy update because I don't have notes and the electricity got pulled from inside the house by accident that feeds into this gym of ours, which means we haven't had any heating in here over the past 24 hours and it is so cold. Whew. Anyway, welcome back to my channel. It is Friday, April 22nd. I am 38 weeks and 2 days pregnant, so this will be my 38-week pregnancy update. And it's so funny, you guys. I've been stressing out so much thinking there's no way I'm gonna get to this date because of everything that's been going on over the past like 3 or 4 weeks. But over the course of the past 3 or 4 weeks, I have talked to so many people in like Facebook groups and on Instagram polls, just watching insane amounts of pregnancy updates on YouTube here. And it's like every person who has ever been in my situation, it's like their third baby, they dilated and effaced maybe a little bit early. They've been having weeks and weeks and weeks of actual contractions, prodromal labor, not just Braxton Hicks, like the real thing, hours upon hours every day. They all make it to their due dates, okay? And like half of them end up getting induced, the other half go like over their due date. So I don't know, what was it, like last week? I think it was when I was 37 weeks, I realized I'm not gonna go early at all. Like all of this stuff that's happening right now is not going to cause me to go into labor early at all. And here I am. So I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago I said that I felt like, and this was even before all of this prodromal labor chaos, I thought that the baby would come on either April 21st or April 22nd. And April 21st was yesterday. And today is April 22nd. So we will just see if today's the day, but I really kind of have my eyes on making it to my due date again. And I don't think that's unrealistic because my other 2 kids came on their due date. Like I went into labor on their due dates, both of them. And I sort of feel like maybe our bodies follow a pattern. I know it's different for everyone, but I don't think it's unrealistic to think that I could make it all the way. So now I sort of see that as a challenge. You all know how I am with challenges. So I don't know, we're just taking it one day at a time, but now I'm kind of like eager to keep that track record I have of making it the whole way with my kids. So we'll just see what happens. But let's dive in to symptoms. The biggest main symptom to talk about is just insane prodromal labor. And I follow a pattern every day, 4 p.m. on the dot. I mean, I get Braxton Hicks, a couple of them throughout the day, just like the normal amount that you would expect to get at this point in pregnancy. Maybe I might get like one that's a little more painful, but for the most part, they're just your typical Braxton Hicks, just the belly tightening, lasts maybe 30, 35 seconds, no big deal, can walk through them, can talk through them, no inconvenience whatsoever. But come 4 p.m., literally on the dot every day, I get my first contraction. And I'm telling you guys, prodromal labor contractions feels just light and day different from Braxton Hicks. These are your real contraction. They're like an early labor contraction. It's the belly, it's the back, it's my whole pelvic floor. It's not just the tightening, but it's that wringing out cramp, kind of like, it's not as, of course, like intense as a active labor contraction, but it's like the light version of that. It's really that feeling of like your muscles getting like wrung out, like a wet towel, menstrual cramping. And yeah, you got to bend over, you got to breathe through it, can't talk through it, don't bother me. Like I need to just get through this contraction sensation. For me, they last about 1 minute and 15 seconds. I've had some last a little over 1.5 minutes, which is kind of crazy. And they come very regularly. Usually every 10 to 13 minutes I get one. I've gotten down as far as 4 to 6 minutes on Easter, the evening of Easter. So it's sort of like the morning, early morning after Easter. I, for a couple hours, was getting them every 4 to 6 minutes. It was like 2 a.m. I got up to take a bath. Like Easter was a mess because my contractions started at 4 p.m. on Easter and they didn't go away until well into the morning the next day. I had 15 hours straight of this. And it was like every 10 to 13 minutes, and then it went down to 7 to 9 minutes, and then it went down to 4 to 6 minutes. And I genuinely thought at 2 a.m. in the bathtub, the morning after Easter, I really thought maybe this was it. This was the real deal, because I was getting them every 4 to 6 minutes, like I said. So I decided, okay, I'm going to get out of the bath, and before I wake up my husband, and before we call my in-laws, before we call the hospital and ask them what we should do, I'm just going to go do some yoga and stretches. I just want to make sure they continue at 4 to 6 minutes, because I have been burnt so many times in this pregnancy now, where they get down to a certain point, and then all of a sudden, it's like 30 minutes before I get another one, and then I don't get any more after that. And what do you know? I get out of the bath, I go do a couple cat-cows in my living room, and all of a sudden they've spaced out to every 15 minutes, and I'm just like, and I just went to bed. And that was a rough night because I just continued to get hammered by these contractions, but they became irregular and very spaced out, and they weren't progressing or getting any worse. And that's the life I've been living. I have been living this on an almost daily basis. There's probably been 3 or 4 days since I was 35 plus 1. So now we're talking 3 weeks and 1 day ago. I think maybe 3 days in that span of time that I haven't had less than 4 to 6 hours of regular prodromal labor contractions in the evening. So it's very frustrating, but it's so classic. It's the classic pattern. It starts at the same time every day. It's rhythmic. They're painful. The contractions last a long time, but they do not get closer together. They don't lead to anything, you know, and here I am. I was, 2 centimeters dilated and 85% effaced 3 weeks and 1 day ago. Oh, and there's still a baby in me. Like, nothing is happening. I have not had any bloody show. I do continue to lose parts of my mucus plug every day, and I do lose more on the days when my contractions are really like particularly intense, but nothing's happening. And as I've continued to sort of like dive a little bit deeper into what to expect with this, it seems like typically people who have very long, drawn out prodromal labor situations can have very short active labors, which scares the living bejesus out of me because no one will cervically check me. I don't have my next midwife appointment until next Friday. So I will be 39 plus 2. So assuming I even make it that far, I'm going to beg my midwife to check me. But there is actually no medical reason for them to have to, unless I were to finally just drag my butt into labor and delivery and just claim that I think I'm in labor when I'm having one of these episodes, which I have too much pride to do. And the hospital is an hour away. So I don't even want to do it. But I'm going to like beg my midwife to check me just so that I can have that data, because I just want to know if any of this has changed me down there. Not that it matters, and it's not going to discourage me or encourage me either way. I really just want that information for myself. But they won't do like a cervical sweep or a cervical check really until I get to my due date. That's how it is here. So I don't know what is happening down there. I could still be at a 2 and 85% effaced. I could be at like 6 centimeters dilated and 100% effaced and be walking around like a ticking time bomb and not know it. But none of that information, I guess, really matters, because once labor does finally start, that's when the main changes down there will take place. I won't lie. I have been brushing up a little bit on unassisted birth tips and tricks, And I just am doing that as an insurance policy because with my other two kids, by the time I got to like 6 centimeters and my water broke, my babies were born an hour later. So I already seem to have really fast labors, especially once my water breaks. It's the early labor phase that tends to be the longest for me. So as I've read, like extended prodromal labor can just sort of serve as your early labor. And so then they say once labor actually starts, you're like thrust into active labor. I just kind of feel like it is not a bad idea for me to know some emergency skills on what to do, how to do it if we end up in a position where it goes 0 to 60. It's something I'm genuinely concerned about. And the three things that make me the most worried about that is, number one, we live an hour from our hospital. So even if we were to leave like right away, it would still take me an hour to get to the hospital. And to compound that, it's going to take me a long time to actually believe that I'm in active labor once it actually starts, because I've been burnt so many times with so many false starts. So I'm already going to be like in it. And then assuming once we realize, okay, this is it, we leave in that moment, it would still take us like 45 minutes to an hour to get to the hospital. So timing wise, that concerns me a little bit. But that was if we didn't have any kids at home. And we have 2 toddlers at home. And we live like an hour and a half away from nearest family. And they might be at work. They might need to like tie up what they're doing at work and then hustle over here. Or it might be in the middle of the night. What if we can't get in touch with them right away? So it's like, we gotta wait to the point where we realize, okay, this is probably it. And at that point, I will be too far gone to be able to drive myself. And then we need to either notify family, wait an hour, hour and a half for them to get here, and then drive 45 minutes or an hour to the hospital. Or we just realize we're not going to be able to wait. We pack up the kids, no matter what hour of the day it is, throw them in the car, hustle to the hospital. And then, like, I don't know, my husband can wait in the car with the kids until my in-laws come and meet us there, and I just go into labor and delivery alone. These are things that keep me up at night, okay? I don't know how it's gonna go. I just, the more people who tell me, oh, it's gonna, I had really long, 3-week-long prodromal labor, and when I went into labor, I was immediately 6 centimeters, and the baby was born in 30 minutes, and I only pushed for like 2 times. These things scare me because I feel like that could be a possible reality. And, I want to give birth without pain medication. That is the goal. But I don't want to give birth without like medical professionals here. And we do have one ambulance in the city nearest us, which is like 20 minutes, like a normal person driving, maybe 25 minutes away from here. And that ambulance does drive to the hospital in Prodromal, which is where I will be going. But that one ambulance serves like a huge territory. So there is the opportunity that we could call an ambulance and they could come and take us. There is the opportunity that I could call a cab and the cab could take me. But there are a lot of considerations to be had, and none of those are like surefire plans that would work. So it's a little stressful, but that's like my main symptom and thing I wanted to talk about this week, because that is just all encompassing what I've been living, and I'm getting really worn out, and I'm really tired at this point, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. So that's something I'm really starting to contend with. I have been dealing with a little bit of heartburn here and there. If I eat too late at night, then like I get like a really bad case of heartburn. But as long as I just wait a couple hours before going to bed, it's fine. I've been having some really bad lightning crotch, which is when the baby's head is so low that it's pressing on nerves on your cervix, and it just feels terrible. It feels like someone is tasing you in your lady parts. What else did I say? My appetite has been up and down. I've been pretty starving actually the past several days. I have been so tired. I have been so thirsty. My degree of fatigue right now is beyond anything it's been so far this pregnancy. And I don't know if it's because I'm not sleeping well at night because of all these contractions, or if it's just pregnancy, or if it's both. I don't know. Those are the only symptoms I can really think of off the top of my head. I am getting a linea nigra. It's still very, very faint, so it's hard to see, but I can see it when I look down. So that has finally started to come. In terms of workouts, fitness, macros, when I weighed in on 38 weeks, I was 74.8 kilo, which I think was up 0.3 kilo from the week prior. So I am gaining now at like a very normal rate, which is good. I think that puts me up at 10.8 kilo total so far this pregnancy. And my goal was to stay at like 11.5 to 12 kilos. So I'm right on track with that. So I'm happy about that. Macros, I'm not tracking at all. I'm sort of sticking, I am sticking to my same old normal foods. I'm just eating different quantities of different things. I've been eating a lot more carbs, but I have been doing a good job with eating quite a bit of protein. And then for workouts, I only worked out Monday and Tuesday of this week. So when I did my 38-week update on Instagram, I had said that I was on my normal fitness routine, which I was. I had worked out my normal days. You know, I lifted 4 days a week in that past week, and I did my hour on the treadmill for an hour, 5 days a week. But since Tuesday, I have not lifted at all. I think I walked on Wednesday, but I don't plan on working out until Monday of next week because I need to recover. I was so tired yesterday, and I feel that same fatigue today that it's silly for me to push myself. Right now, I need to listen to my body. My body says I need to rest. So I've just been trying to stay busy in the house, cleaning the house, cooking, staying on top of chores, staying on top of laundry, vacuuming, you know, just trying to do really the bare minimum of keeping my household and my general life together because I don't have anything extra to give. But I do think this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I will walk. And then on Monday, I'm going to come back out here and try to push through next week. Just, if anything else, to have something to do, you know. To round out this video, I had a growth scan last Wednesday, so 2 days ago, and they were looking to check my fluids and baby's growth because my fundal height chart has been a bonanza. I will put a picture up here. This is from my app, my Swedish app that I'm logging my pregnancy in. I still need to get a printout from my midwife, but I won't get that until Friday. But these are my fundal height measurements that I've had so far this pregnancy, since my first midwife appointment at 25 weeks up until 37 weeks when they decided to book this growth scan. So basically I was like at the very, very, very height of what would be considered normal. I was measuring between 3 and 4 weeks ahead, like my belly size. And then at my 35-week appointment, all of a sudden I was measuring 1 week behind. And then at my 37-week appointment, my belly hadn't changed at all. So then I was measuring 3 weeks behind or something like that. So she decided, because of that and because like my weight hadn't really been going up all that much, that they wanted to just check and see what was going on. So we went to the growth scan. The ultrasound, unfortunately, was really terrible. It was this small monitor. It was very low contrast. You couldn't see anything, really. But she was able to get most of the measurements she needed. And my fluid levels are fine. I don't know what they were, but she just did one quick measurement. She goes, yep, this is good. She checked the umbilical cord blood flow. She said that was all good. Everything was normal on that. And then she spent a ton of time trying to measure his body. She couldn't find his leg. It was like his femur was way over here. But she got like 2 out of the 4 measurements she wanted there and just was like, what, you know, that's just as good as we're gonna get it. And his femur was measuring 36 weeks one day. And according to their system, I was 37 7 weeks and 6 days. So his femur is measuring about 2 weeks behind. That's what it has been measuring this entire pregnancy. So that was normal. And then she measured the cross section of his abdomen a bunch of times, and that came out as measuring something like 38 weeks and 6 days, which is a week ahead of what it should be. Up until this point, all the scans I've had have said his torso circumference and length was measuring 2 weeks ahead. So now it's only 1 week ahead, but it's still like in the wheelhouse of what he has always been. And then she tried to measure his skull and she couldn't do it. His head is so low into my pelvis that she could not get an accurate, full measurement. So she tried, she said that, so she got 2 measurements for his head, but she said they're not accurate. She says she could tell me right now that those measurements came out smaller than they should be. But she said everything else looked normal, and so not to really worry about it. And she just stuck with the measurements she had. She put it into her system, and she said that according to the calculation, the baby was looking to weigh about, what was it, 3,162 grams, I think, which comes out to 6 pounds, 15 ounces. She said that this could be plus or minus 200 grams in either direction, but she also said that he's probably weighing a little bit more than that. It's just that because she couldn't get the full skull measurement, it might make his estimated weight a little bit less. But it doesn't matter because basically the system is showing that he's a 7-pound baby at 38 weeks, which I think is fantastic. So, you know, it's looking like, if I believe in that scan, he will be born, if at 40 weeks, somewhere between the weights of my daughter and my son. My daughter was 6.5 pounds at 40 weeks, when she was born at 40 weeks. And my son was 8 pounds, 5 ounces when he was born at 40 weeks. So this guy is looking like he's probably in the middle, if you're gonna believe a scan. So his growth has actually slowed down a little bit because now he's exactly on the 50th percentile, I think. Whereas at my 33-week scan, they were showing him at being around 75th percentile. But he could have just gone through a big growth spurt back then. I don't know. It's just funny because he was measuring much bigger back when I was on my weight maintenance thing. And now that I'm just eating whatever I want when I want, now he's like kind of losing weight. I don't know. But that is the update for now. So I'm going to get out of here because I feel like this video is already too long. But I don't know, you guys. I just expect to make it to my due date now. I think I'm going to be one of those women on YouTube who's saying this is my 3rd baby. I've been dilated and interfaced for weeks and weeks, crazy prodromal labor, and like I'm probably going to gestate this baby longer than any of my other kids. I don't know what to say. I have no idea what's going to happen with the birth. Like, this kid's head is so low. My second baby, I don't know about my first, but my second baby, his head didn't actually drop into my pelvis until they broke my water when I was 6 centimeters dilated. And then he was born like 60 minutes later. So his head, he never dropped. This kid's head is so low. And yet here I am. Like, I don't know. I don't know, guys. So stay tuned. I am doing more regular updates on Instagram, and I will be updating my stories if anything goes down. So if you're curious to know how this goes more frequently than weekly, then hit me up over there. Otherwise, my next update will be a week from today when I'm 39 plus 2 after I do my midwife appointment. And hopefully they will check me and I will be able to get some information on if I've dilated more. I'm not going to do a bump shot this week because I'm freezing, but I'm sure I will have put up a ton of pictures throughout this video. So anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Wish me luck.